Hello, boys, girls, and genderless aliens. Today we're going to learn about sentences. So first of all, what is a sentence? A sentence is a group of words that expresses a complete thought. Every sentence has to have a subject and a predicate to be considered a sentence. The subject describes who or what your sentence is about, and the predicate describes what your subject is doing. So let's take a look at this sentence. Maggie is feeding the dog. Maggie is your subject, because that's what the sentence is about. The phrase is feeding the dog is the predicate, because that describes what Maggie is doing. Now that we've established exactly what a sentence is, let's talk about the different types of sentences. There are 4 distinct types of sentences. There are declarative, interrogative, imperative, and exclamatory sentences. Declarative sentences make statements. An example would be, I ate a strawberry Pop-Tart for breakfast. Interrogative sentences ask questions. All interrogative sentences end in question marks. Some common words found in interrogative sentences are who, what, where, when, why, and how. An example of an interrogative sentence would be, what time is it? Imperative sentences demand something, and they end with a period. All imperative sentences have a subject and a predicate, even though the subject may not be explicitly mentioned inside the sentence. For example, in the sentence, do your homework, you are the subject. Now, the last sentence that we're going to talk about is the exclamatory sentence. These sentences express strong emotion, and they end in exclamation points. An example of this sentence would be, I got an A on my project. Now that we've spent time on sentences and types of sentences, let's go back to the subject and predicate ordeal I mentioned earlier in the video. So, every sentence has a complete subject and a complete predicate. The complete subject is just the entire section of the sentence that describes the entire noun phrase. The complete predicate describes the entire verb phrase in the words up until the punctuation mark. Each sentence is going to at least have a simple subject and a simple predicate. These terms don't necessarily imply that there's just one subject and one predicate. These terms just mean that the simple subject and simple predicate are key terms that give you a basic understanding of what the sentence is about. So far, we've only given example sentences with one subject and one predicate. When a sentence is talking about more than one person, place, or thing, the sentence contains a compound subject. When a sentence tells about a subject performing more than one task, the sentence has a compound predicate. Got it? So, if there's a compound subject and a compound predicate, surely there's such thing as a compound sentence, right? Of course there is. Compound sentences express 2 or more complete ideas that are related to each other. These 2 related sentences can be joined together with a conjunction, a comma, or a semicolon. Every sentence has to have at least one subject and one predicate for it to be a sentence, right? Sometimes it might be difficult to find the subject in your sentence. You see, not all sentences start with your subject and end with your predicate. Confused? Let me explain. Most sentences that you're going to write are going to follow the natural order because it's straightforward and easy. Natural order sentences have the subject before your predicate. An example would be, I listened to music last night, the subject being I. But a few sentences are written in inverted order, just for the sake of being, over the top and excessive. These sentences have the subject come after your predicate. An example would be, into the home flew a wasp. After this explanation, you might be wondering what an imperative sentence would be considered. Well, imperative sentences follow the natural order. Even though your subject is implied, the subject is being told to do something in a straightforward way. But what if a sentence doesn't have a subject and or a predicate? That, my friend, is not a sentence. It is called a sentence fragment. Phrases like these may leave some information out, and they often lead your reader confused. On the other hand, sentences might have too many words and not enough punctuation. These are called run-on sentences. A run-on is a phrase that has 2 or more sentences that are smushed together without proper punctuation. An example would be, I went to the park and had a blast, I played by the lake. To fix run-ons, just slap on some punctuation and or conjunctions, and you're good. So we've covered a lot of things concerning sentence structure, but we've forgotten about the most important part of a sentence. Let's talk about conjunctions, the metaphorical glue to your sentence family. A conjunction, in definition, is a word that joins words or groups of words. There are 3 types of conjunctions: coordinating, correlative, and subordinating. Coordinating conjunctions connect related words that have the same role in a sentence. To remember your coordinating conjunctions, remember the acronym FANBOYS, or for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. On the other hand, correlative conjunctions join word groups. Correlative conjunctions work in teams. Some examples are either or, neither nor, whether or, and both and. On the other hand, subordinating conjunctions are words that connect subordinate clauses to independent clauses.